Hey, I'm Ben Justus. I'm the offensive coordinator at Velma-Alma High School. I coach the quarterbacks and wide receivers. I want to talk about our spread passing attack and eight man, and kind of go over our offense as a whole. A little bit about our offense. We're all 2x2 and 3x1. We do some one back and two back down at the goal line, but it's more situational stuff. A lot of our stuff, if we're in the open field, we're going to be some sort of spread deal. We do a lot of empty. We're up tempo. We try to go as fast as we can. I can control the tempo and slow it down if I want to, but a lot of times we're going to try to go as fast as we can. Our offense averaged over 50 points a game. Our starting quarterback, he had a 75% completion percentage, threw 23 touchdowns, rushed for a whole lot more. Only had 3 interceptions on the year. None of them were on the play that I'm going to go over today. Those 3 interceptions, one of them, a kid tried to run a double breaking route instead of just running his route. And then another one, a kid ran a wrong route, and so our quarterback was confused by the concept. So he was pretty efficient. There wasn't a lot of mistakes made on his part. A lot of it, when it happened, was something on the receiver's end. So our spread passing philosophy, we're going to take what the defense gives us. If you're going to give us a free 5 yards, we're going to try to take it. If you're going to give us a shot, we're going to take a shot, and we're going to try to go get a touchdown out of it. We're not going to get way complicated with our schemes. We used to do that in the past of draw up all these fancy things I saw on Saturday and Sunday, and when we just finally boiled down to it and just looked, the easiest way to attack was the best way to go. And if that was run a hitch, then we needed to throw a hitch in there. We don't need to do anything fancy. Another thing is we're going to try to create mismatches. We're going to try to put our good kids on your bad kids and give our kids a chance to win. At the same time, we're going to be complex for the defense, and we're going to be simple for us. That way we can play fast, and it's going to be a whole lot harder for your kids. And when you get to seeing it, it's going to look like a lot of stuff for the defense, but to us, it's really simple. We're going to try to develop explosive plays and create opportunities for explosive plays. And then we're also going to get the ball to our playmakers in space and give them some chance for one-on-one. And eight-man, most of you eight-man coaches know, if you get one-on-one, there's a good chance if you make that guy miss, you can go to the house and get 6 points. Our passing game, we basically have 3 different sections of it. We have our screens, our quicks, and then our drop-back concepts. We throw the bubble screen, the arrow screen. We kind of consider that about the same. The now screen, it's just a one step, and we're going to throw it right now, especially if someone's playing way off. Since an 8-man, there's no overhangs. Like an 11-man, we figure we can just pull up and hit that guy immediately and then just let him do something in space. Our slip screen, which is our outside screen to the number 1 receiver, and jailbreak, kind of our slow, complements our dropbacks. It's been a great play for us. We always have great numbers on it. And so if we figure if we can just get at least half of them blocks, we're going to have something good. I know a lot of times when linemen run downfield don't always find somebody, but they can at least get somebody's way, and our skilled kids can make something happen. Our quicks, our favorite one is the hitch. We like to throw it a lot. We'll throw the slant some off the backside of jet, and it's more of a play action throw for us. We'll throw the arrows part of our quick game, speed outs, and fades and seams have been a big part of our quicks. We don't like to take a long time throwing those. We want to get them out fast and try to attack space. And then a lot of our drop back concepts, we have a smash, our sail, which is kind of a flood, our cross, which is also another flood, shallow. Shallow is more of a complement, and it helps us on like our sails and things like that, more of a check down. We do run some mesh. We like it more in the red zone, especially against man. And then we'll run some snag some three-man snag, out of some bunch sets. We like a lot of bunch sets in our offense. We find that defenses have a hard time lining up, and it puts more guys in conflict if they're a run defender or pass defender. So when we game plan our passing game, the first thing we're going to look at is how many deep defenders do they have? How deep are their secondary players? Are they deeper than 7 yards, or are they closer than 7 yards? 7 yards is kind of our landmark of how far we're looking to see if they're above 7 yards or below 7 yards. And then we're going to look at how many linebackers or what the box is. A lot of times we're going to see a 3-1 box. There was only one time this year that we didn't see a 3-1 box. We saw a 2-2. So we had to factor in how those two linebackers were going to play underneath coverage. A lot of times when there's just one linebacker, it's a whole lot easier to game plan. But every now and then you're going to get teams that are going to jump into a 2-1 or a 2-2 so they can get more guys out in coverage. How well do they close on routes? Do they break on routes really hard? If they do, we're going to look at some double moves and look at some more explosive plays. We're not going to try to go away from those guys. We're still going to try to attack those guys. And then if they don't close very well, we can obviously attack those guys through multiple ways. Are they a man turn or zone turn team? Even though sometimes kids are in man, sometimes they're going to take a zone turn, and we're going to take advantage of that. Or if they're man turning us, we can be more aggressive with our throws. We can take some opportunities. Every now and then you see a man turn, you throw it. It might not be a completion, but you can get a pass interference call, so we're going to take advantage of that. And then the last thing that we talk about when we're game planning is what constraints are we going to run? What complementary plays do we have? If we know that we're probably going to be throwing a hitch a bunch, we're going to have hitch and go ready to go. If we're going to throw the slant a bunch, we're going to have slant and go ready. If we know we're going to be throwing corner routes, we're going to have a corner post. We're going to find every complement we can to our base passing game. All right, so this is our 49er concept is what we call it. In our system, our kids, a 4 is a hitch, and then a 9 is a fade or a seam. And so first thing we're going to do is our kids are going to go up and they're going to try to get a pre-snap idea of how deep these secondary players are. And if they're above 7 yards, like we talked about earlier, we're anticipating running a hitch. But this can change post-snap because every now and then we get people that try to spin down a safety or a corner, and then we can take that vertical space. So we don't decide this is going to be a hitch or this is going to be a seam or a fade most of the time. Now, there are times where if we have a kid and we don't trust him deep, we'll tell him, listen, when we're in 49er, you're going to run a hitch. We're not going to let you run a seam. And the better they are as a route runner, we'll start to give them more options. For example, our F right here, a lot of times we would let him come and run like a bender and almost like a skinny post, especially if we knew we had this guy on a hitch because we knew we had more vertical space over here that he could attack. And this kid was a big, tall kid for us. We really liked him deep. And then RH was a real good route runner underneath and could really do a good job. He was more like a running back for us. We ran a lot of a jet with him. And so we really didn't want to run him vertically. He wasn't real tall. You'll see some of it on the film. And then we let our L and our R basically choose what they're going to do. Sometimes they would get to about 10 and break it off instead of breaking it off at 5. We really like that decision more at 5. But the more they can do, the more you trust them, they can get away with a lot more stuff. And the big thing is they just need to be on the same page as a quarterback. We didn't throw any interceptions on this play. I don't have our stats for this play, but it was a huge play for us. We ran it a lot after big plays. And so we would, as a one-word call, I'd holler out 49er. We'd get up there and we'd go, and our kids were going to make us right. I didn't want to have to look the coverage over and say, okay, we need to run outside hitches and inside seams or outside fades and inside hitches. I wanted us to be able to just go and be right and have a nice positive play off of it. to keep that tempo going. And so we work this play all the time. And our kids have gotten really good at it. It's probably their favorite play. Our quarterback has an extremely high percentage throwing this. Obviously, 75% on the year. A lot of that is good because of this play. And our kids think they're going to be open all the time. And it has answers versus man. It has answers versus zone. It's a very versatile concept. You can still run this out of one back. You could probably even run it out of two back if you wanted to. Basically, it's just a choice concept, and our quarterback's going to make us right. We like to progress usually from inside out, so from F to the R or H to the L. And basically, so that way we're making sure that the safety's not running over the top and trying to cover something. We can hold him right here, and that makes these outside guys truly one-on-one. So you can see right here, they actually have 9 guys on the field right now. This guy's trying to run off. You can tell how our tempo is affecting these guys. Right now, this L, he's thinking he's going to go over the top with this guy being pressed. And our R's thinking the same thing with him being pressed. He's going to go over the top. Our H and our F are looking, and they're seeing these safeties. And right now they're figuring they're probably going to be running some sort of underneath route. So at the snap, this safety starts to spin down. And our kid realizes it and goes over the top. We're able to hit a 20-yard play on these guys just because we were going fast, and we're able to read this route on the fly. Our H sits down. I would like for him to press vertically a little harder. He didn't run that route real hard, but he knew he was going to be open underneath immediately. But we still want him to push to at least 5 just to try to hold that safety. You can see our outside guys are taking off. The guy on the top was also open, and I believe our guy on the bottom was open too. See if we can go to the next clip here. All right, so here it is later in the game. So against the zone, this team wanted to play a lot of cover 2 to us and try to have these corners sit in the flats. Well, our quarterback realized it, and basically the safety, once we started realizing it was zone, we knew if we sent both these guys vertical, it'd be 2-on-1. Now, we're still going to tell him, if you're open underneath, sit. We're not going to run him into a bad route. But that vertical press really holds this safety, opening up this outside guy. You can see that safety basically stays on the hash, the corner squatted, and it's an easy throw and completion and touchdown for us. This time we flipped the set. A lot of times we're going to have our wing-like player to the right and then our H to the left. But if you want to flip it, you can run it however you want to. A lot of times in our hurry-up calls, we're going to set our wing over here. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. It creates a lot of space. He's our better route runner, and so a lot of times when he's to the field, he has more options and gets to attack grass. So right now, obviously they're still in that same cover 2 look. They got their safeties deep and the corner squatting. We like for our outside receivers to release outside, but if they're playing us outside and the easiest release is inside, we'll take that, but then we're going to try to get back outside. So right now this kid ought to be running the hitch. Up top we're running a fade. And then we have our hitch here that holds the safety just long enough to let us throw it into that window up top. here we are again. It's the same look. They got this corner that's squatting. They have a corner that's squatting over here, and then a safety sitting about 7 yards. So this kid ought to be thinking right now, I'm underneath. This kid should be thinking I'm over the top, and then underneath, and then over the top because this corner's pressed. Our quarterback looks. Obviously, we have the space outside to throw it, and he takes advantage of it. If this guy would run his route a little bit harder, he could hold that safety and keep him out of that throw. Now, there's also answers versus pressure in this. See if I can get this back to the beginning. Now they're starting to try to do some corner blitz. A lot of times, teams are going to try to stop this by pressure. They can either change their alignments in coverage, or they can bring guys off the edge or bring the mic. And you'll see a bunch of clips where people try to blitz people. But because of the adjustments in the route, we can get this ball out fast. And a lot of times when people blitz us, they're going to try to play over the top, leaving all the underneath space open, and we can hit that really fast. So both these kids should have just been running hitches up here. And if our quarterback would have noticed that they were bringing that guy, we should have thrown it over there. But our F right here makes a good play. He gets there, sits in the hole, and we're able to get it out to him and get a 15-yard gain, and didn't really have to do a whole lot. Still lets us play fast, high percentage completions. We're just able to go. And our kids are making us right. This is the next week right here. This team had seen us throw it deep to them outside guys quite a bit. And so they were playing a little bit more cushion. And so we're obviously going to run more underneath routes this week. So you can see right now the safety's sitting deep. This guy's sitting about 5 to 6 yards, but he's bailing. The same thing up top. And then this safety's kind of playing in the middle. So this guy's really going to have to read this route and decide, am I going to sit it down or am I going to go over the top? And this team also tried to bring a lot of four-man pressures. When we first got into eight-man, a lot of people said that we can't run this offense because they're just going to bring four. If you're blocking with three, they're going to bring four, and you're not going to have time to get it out. Obviously, if your kids know what they're doing, pressure should not be a problem. We want our quarterback to take a three-step drop, and he's going to hit the last step of that drop, and he's going to get it out. Now, if he knows that he's going to throw it to a hitch, he could probably just take a one-step drop and just get it out. You can see right here, he shortens it up because he knows he's going to get pressure, gets it out fast. And then another big thing is we teach our kids when you get the ball, get upfield, don't dance. This kid almost breaks a tackle. If RL right there would have thrown him a block, this kid, if he breaks his tackle, he's going to go score. Your receivers have to make sure they're doing a good job of getting upfield. We'll even run this play in the red zone. You can see up top right here, this corner takes a man turn. We're going to be real aggressive whenever we see a man turn. Even if it's an incompletion, a lot of times we're going to draw pass interference. They can't see the ball whenever they take that man turn, and so we're going to take a chance. So down here at the bottom, just starting from the L, this kid's pressed up, so he's going to try to go. This guy should have probably went over the top since this guy was so close to him. But he was a kid that we told him, you're going to stay underneath unless they are basically in your face and they make you. He was one of those kids I talked about earlier. He was more of a running back, kind of a short kid, not a great deep ball guy. And so a lot of times we kept him underneath. .44 right here. He does a good job. He attacks and then sits down. and works away from the coverage. And then up top, obviously this guy's pressed, so we're taking that outside release. We're making a man turn, and we're going to take a chance and go get an easy 6 points. So we're getting the same look here. This corner's pressed up. This guy's sitting about 5 yards, but we're going to keep this guy underneath. And then we're going to let this guy have the freedom to work on this guy right here and decide if he wants to go deep and give him more area to maybe run like a bender, kind of like that skinny post. And then this guy's probably going to go deep because he's already seen this guy pressed up trying to get in his face. So obviously, you can see how this guy, he attacks outside and then works inside. That's a huge coaching point for RF is we tell him to attack that outside hip and then work across their face, especially if we know that they're going to leave the middle of the field open. So he runs a great route right here. Our quarterback throws it on time, throws it on rhythm. It's a nice 23-yard gain. Wasn't a whole lot that was very complicated about it. A lot of the things that make it go is just in the details of how you run your routes and the timing of it. All right, next play, they're still in the same look. We got that man turn up top. We're going to try to take advantage of that. This kid takes that outside release. They man turn, and we're going to go take a shot. Worst case scenario, we think that we're going to draw pass interference. And then a lot of times, even if we do have an incompletion on this from taking a shot, it's 2nd and 10. We feel like an 8-man, and we can still get those 10 yards. And so we think it's a great time to take a shot, especially with us going tempo. You can see the chains aren't even set. I mean, we're moving that fast. And so their kids are getting more out. Our kids are used to going this fast. Their kids aren't. They huddle up. And so we run by this kid and have a nice 35-yard touchdown. So this team right here, they wanted to play their corners deep. They had seen us the week before throw a lot of stuff to them outside receivers deep when they were pressed. And then they would take these outside backers or almost safety, almost like guys, and walk them up and try to get in our F and our H's face. So we still got the same kid that we're telling to stay underneath, but since we're doing that, we're letting our F have more options deep. And this is a great example of whenever he's running that bender route, because he's going to attack this outside hip of this guy and then work it across him. And our quarterback throws it on rhythm, on time, and we have a nice 32-yard play out of it. Both of our outside receivers should probably be sitting this down. They've gotten to 5, 6, 7 yards, and them guys are still over the top. They need to shut it down and find a way to be open. They don't get open right here. You can see the corners are still over the top of them. But our receiver in the middle of the field makes a nice play, runs a nice route, and creates a huge opportunity for us, gets us down inside the 5. All right, so this is later in the game. They're starting to play some of their guys deeper. We just work it underneath to our guy that we said you're going to run a hitch no matter what, especially after we've taken this big number 44 and run him through the middle. You can see they're really trying to bracket him and keep guys over him. So our quarterback just takes what they give us and just finds this underneath guy, and we get an easy 7 yards out of this. We're not always having to find a touchdown. 2nd and 3 is a good situation. I think every coach in America would take 2nd and 3. This team right here, early they tried to play some zone. We really like it when teams try to play zone against this, because a lot of times this corner's going to squat and he's going to leave this outside space open. Well, if our inside guys are doing a good job of pressing vertically, it's going to hold this safety. A lot of times there's not going to be anyone out there to cover that outside receiver. And so you really make them look silly. And so here our guy is. He's running kind of that bender route. This H is sitting underneath. Well, we hold that safety up top and able to throw it there. Saying this corner played man and ran with him and we didn't like it, we could have worked it back down here to this underneath route. But like I said, when they play zone, there's a lot of vertical space that we can attack. We get a 40-yard touchdown out of this and really didn't have to do a whole lot. It really wasn't the best ball. But if they're going to play zone, you can take advantage of it. This is another good example of receivers running that kind of skinny post route. This guy right now is attacking this outside hip of this safety. This guy's going to sit down underneath and try to draw this guy to stay on top of him. And then we're going to work this route right across this guy's face on that skinny post. I'd like the ball to be out a little bit quicker, but it's a good route. He's able to hit it, and we get a touchdown out of this. Now, this team right here, basically they were not going to let us beat them deep. They'd seen it a number of times on film. And so we're just going to take this underneath. And our kid's going to do a good job of trying to get upfield, gets a few extra yards, and it's an 8-yard completion. And then later, this allows us to game plan some explosive plays, because now we're going to nickel and dime them. We're going to try to get them to come up, react, and then we can get those hitch and goes, or maybe we can run that guy on a hitch and that outside receiver on a post over him. We can really take advantage of what the defense is going to give us. So this is the last clip right here. This team, they would try to take these corners and basically apex them and try to take away both routes. And then they would take this Mike linebacker and really drop him down the middle, almost like a deep third player. And so this is another thing of how well do the kids close and break on routes. Because even though they're trying to get these corners to play kind of a deep thirds, this vertical action by these outside receivers is holding them. And then we run both of our inside receivers right down the seams and basically almost play a 2-on-1 with this Mike linebacker, who generally is not the best at closing on routes. And then we're able to get a big touchdown out of this. So obviously, if they have two guys deep in their outside, these inside guys are ready to go. I thought he should have thrown it to the other guy, but I'm not going to complain whenever we get a 45-yard touchdown out of it. So thanks for watching. My contact info is at the beginning. Like I showed, hit me up if you have any questions. I'm willing to share anything. I'm not going to have any secrets. I really want to spread some knowledge in 8-man, especially since there's not much out there. Thanks for listening.